Yeah, good morning, everyone. Let's start with our market commentary. Now, as we see, the Nifty is basically making new high every day. So we need to be a little cautious when we are trading. Apart from that, one thing which is very clear, we are basically entering a pre-budget rally, as we had already discussed prior as well. Okay, so now what we see over here is basically a Nifty daily chart, and right now let us understand what are the important base levels where Nifty can come and correct. So first thing which we have already discussed, the base level where Nifty had spent large amount of time is around this 10,400 mark, right, where it basically corrected. It settled over there for a couple of times and then it just went higher. So for our understanding, let us put one line which is important support level 10,435. Second is the level where gap up happened. So let me zoom in a bit. Second level which is important for me, where the gap up happened and it just zoomed higher. Okay, so where we see over here the gap up took place and the gap up point was higher than the previous all the resistance levels which were there, right? So one thing is pretty clear, 10,435 or 10,400 to 10,535 range is very good support band for Nifty. Second, going ahead, yes, again there were a couple of gap ups which were formed, but more or less this was the point where Nifty took a gap up, went higher, and again it came back and tested this particular level 10,665. So more or less this can be one of the support zone, but more than that I would suggest having a support zone around this range 10,500 to 10,435 is very crucial. Now what I understand from this rally, where basically the rally started from 10,400 and now it has basically reached almost to 10,900 odd levels. So what we see over here, the rally has taken almost around 400 to 500 points, and maybe till the budget rally happens it might reach to 11,000 or 11,200 or so, right? So for me these levels are important, and then when the correction comes we are looking for these levels to come very fast. So 10,500 should always be there on the cards. So 400 500 points fall after the budget is pretty much there in our pursuit. Apart from that, when we go down and see the weekly chart, which gives us a better picture rather than daily, when I go out and see weekly chart, two things are pretty much clear. After undergoing a weekly fall, this was the last week where the correction took place, where almost it reached to 10,130 odd levels, and from there I am just seeing all green candles building up, right? And that is not a healthy sign. Now what I see over here, after the red candle which was formed, a reversal took place by two green candle, and this green candle was so solid that it took away the red candle from the top. Also, if you remember, this was the level where it came back down and tested 11,120 odd levels of the Gujarat election day, and then it bumped and raised higher, and from then on the rising rally has always been there. Now from the daily chart, we had picked up two levels, which was 10,500 and 10,400 range. And if you see over here on the weekly chart also, these levels are very important. Okay, so when we see over here the complete Moribazu of red which was formed, a complete pull up took place and then it raised higher. But once it came down and it tested almost the same high of this red candle. So I can be pretty much sure when we put the candle level of 10,400 as very good support when Nifty corrects. So this is more important for me to understand. Even on weekly chart, I am getting a same range or sense where Nifty can correct and basically reside. So 10,400, and on the upper end, I basically see 10,500 odd levels where the entire gap up has happened and it is zoomed higher. So week is about to end and we basically see another green candle building up. right? So from weekly point of view, I'm seeing green candles from last 5 to 8 weeks now, and then budget rally comes in, and you might find another couple of rallies coming in, which basically gives us a clear indication that it will come down, but the downfall will be faster than the uprise, right? So then 400, 500 points fall will be pretty much fast rather than swift. So that we should keep in mind. Now seeing this, let's put pivot points. So let us also put the pivot points to understand where the higher levels are there. So when I go out for the daily chart once again, after understanding the two big support zone for Nifty even from the weekly standpoint, I basically now let's keep pivot points to understand where is the higher resistance which can build up, right? So when I go out and see the standard pivots on the daily chart, one thing is pretty much clear, that the first resistance zone which was seen, so if I go out and see the first resistance zone, it was already taken out, and it was around this 10,700 mark. The important level was the second resistance zone, 10,897, and that is where yesterday it made almost the same high. So let us draw some lines in order to understand these levels. So 10,897 or 10,900, and the straight away next resistance is around 10,200 or so, right? So from pivot point of view, it basically indicates if this resistance point or if yesterday's high is taken out, there is a clear cut rally which can happen to 11,200, right? So let's remove this out, and it is pretty much clear that first resistance point, it was hit yesterday itself, and a reverse rally took place, or basically selling took place from that level itself. But if this 10,890 is taken out or 10,900 is taken out, the next resistance by pivot is 11,200, right? So that is more important to understand. Upside can be there till 11,200. Pre-budget rally is exactly possible. Now let's go and see Bank Nifty. So two things to take away from here. The good support zone for Nifty is 10,500 to 10,400. Number one. Number two, after seeing the pivot after the resistance of yesterday's high, there is a clear indication of 11,200 on the cards. So roughly the range of upside, still 300 points of upside is there, which is likely during the budget rally, which is there after 25th. So we basically have 25th where the expiry will happen, and the first when the budget will happen. So there is almost 1 week or at least 4 working days where one more rally can take place after the expiry, right? That is also crucial. Apart from that, today there are some results of all the heavyweights, so that also will play a good role in supporting Nifty. Now let's go out and see Bank Nifty. Now Bank Nifty was always on the sideways, right? From such a long time it was just remaining sideways. So what we see over here, for me, Bank Nifty was important resistance level roughly around this zone of 25,800, and then what happens, 700 or 800, and then it opens gap up and it just shoots higher. So yesterday gap up was very high, which took place, and what exactly happened over here after the gap up, the rally was very fast, almost reaching to 28,000, 26,800 or so. Now, one thing which we need to understand from the broader point of view, if we go out and see Bank Nifty, it has remained sideways for a long amount of time. Then it went higher, again it remained sideways, and then one more uptick has started in Bank Nifty. Right? Now, what we need to understand from this entire setup, Bank Nifty again goes sideways, and then again a breakout has taken place. What we need to understand, Bank Nifty will now not perform as usual as it used to perform prior, because once the Bank Nifty has shooted up, all we need to understand, after first there is RBI meeting which will happen in the following week, right? So what happens over here, RBI is not going to raise interest rates, inflations are high, and Bank Nifty will start correcting. Once Bank Nifty starts correcting, obviously the correction will be fast because the rally is also very fast. Now we need to again understand, as we understood for Nifty, where we can look out for our support levels. So let's first go down in the weekly chart to understand the support levels for Bank Nifty. So one thing is pretty clear if we see from Bank Nifty point of view, after the good sell-off which took place or after undergoing large amount of congestion zone which was over here from the lower angle. So after this selling point, there has been a quick swift up move which is trying to take place with a small gap up, and it just goes up in this entire week. So the level which we have decided seems to be very relevant, 25,700 or 800 kind of zone, where Bank Nifty has basically been there for large amount of time. The resistance was there and the breakout took place. So the first level of correction from the higher levels will basically come down. So we are looking for 26,000 or 25,800 on the cards. So roughly around 600 points correction from current levels. But even if Bank Nifty zooms higher in the budget rally, then there is good amount of correction. 700, 800 points are there in Bank Nifty as well, right? So Bank Nifty will have more chances of correction than Nifty because of the RBI meet which is there. So keep that in mind. Let's see now on the daily chart. So we have got our basic important support level which is around this 25,800 to 25,700 zone. Second thing which is important, again we can go out and put our indicator. Let's put only the pivot because since it is rising higher, it's better to put pivot to understand how much upstream is left. So when I go out and put pivot even for Bank Nifty, one thing is pretty clear. After the resistance point which was there, 24,600, 24,400 is already out. So the bigger resistance for Bank Nifty is now almost at 27,100, right? So from the current level, there is still roughly around 400, 500 points up rally, which is possible as per the pivot indicator before you can basically find a correction for Bank Nifty as well. So keeping that in mind, Nifty and Bank Nifty, when it crosses now the prior resistance, clear indication is there and upswing is possible both in Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. So Bank Nifty almost 300, 400 points are there on the up move. So 27,000 can be reached, and on Nifty 11,000 plus levels can be reached for Nifty as well. So keeping those two things in mind, we are basically not saying being bearish right now, but yes, after expiry when things go up, I think the budget rally will happen, and then we need to be a little cautious, or bearishness should be there. So we should also look at the options chain as well as the option strategy. So let's go and see what's there in the options point of view. So from options angle, I think we need to understand which strategies can be made. Okay, so once the Nifty goes to a higher scale, one thing which is important for me is to look for puts, or basically the bear strategies. We need to put it in place, and we know our lower levels also. So this is your Nifty on 25th of Jan as the expiry. All I am interested on the higher levels where I can find large amount of OI. So when I see on the OI section of the call, on the higher levels, when I see the bigger level of OI is been built up around this 11,000 range, right? Around this 11,062 lakh contracts are there as per the OI standpoint, and the second level is around 11,100 and then 11,200. But majorly it is 11,000 mark where OI is maximum, and even pivot is telling me that there will be a good range of upside which is possible, right? So keeping that in mind, 11,000 becomes a huge barrier for Nifty. It is already now 850, 10,850. So 150 points upside is clearly possible. Now let's go and look at the similar fashion for Bank Nifty. When I go out and see again Bank Nifty, not the weekly expiry. It's better to go again and look at the monthly expiry. That's 25th Jan. Now, when I go out and see on Bank Nifty as well, the major OI, which is basically there, roughly around this zone, where I can say 27,000, almost 9 lakh contracts are there for Bank Nifty as well. So what I see over here, even for Bank Nifty, the 27,000 mark, and for Nifty 11,000 mark, they are very, very crucial. Obviously, the OI will change, but the major hurdle of OI is giving me a resistance point of 27,000. So for Nifty 11,000, for Bank Nifty 27,000, these are important levels to watch out for. And if before budget, if they reach around those levels, then we need to be cautious, and we will be making bear spreads in order to make some money on the downside. Now, one thing which we had made a bull spread in Nifty long back, just wanted to understand how much was the risk reward there. It was 10,000. We had basically made a bull spread of 10,600 and 10,800. So right now, if you see, 10,600 is roughly around 253. Okay, so it is 253 for 10,600, and 10,800 is roughly around 83 or so. So if we see over here, still 170 rupees is what you are getting in that bull spread. Okay, 253 minus 83. So 160 and 170 rupees if you get on your bull spread, and the basic level at which we entered was around 40. So it was a good risk reward zone for bull spread. Similarly, now when Nifty will scale at higher levels, we will look for bear spread, and we will look for 1:5 as a risk reward opportunity. So having a clear understanding now from weekly and daily charts, as well as from pivots point of view, 27,000 for Bank Nifty, and for Nifty we are looking out for 11,000. Let's see for today's day now. Nifty, after undergoing a gap up bearish, from morning it has gained a little bit of strength, and now it is building on its strength. As you can see, it is 37 points up now. Let's go down and see the gainers for today. When we are seeing the gainers, first is Adani Ports, SBI, India Bull Housing Finance. Now these are the results which are pending, and that is why they are providing some kind of support. Those in the losers category, what I see is Ultratech, Z, Infi, all of these guys were already, results were declared. So Z and Ultratech results were already declared, and now we see a quick down move happening in these counters. Gale has been going down, even Aurobindo Pharma being on the bearish side. So predominantly when we go and even see on the extended list, it's pretty much clear that the India Bull, Reliance, L&T, the bigger heavyweights are there which are providing some support, even the Yes Bank. But majorly what we need to understand today's result, that is HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, how are they performing, right? To understand the flow of today's Nifty. Let's take some of the stocks. So let's take Reliance. When we see Reliance, a quick fall has already happened in Reliance. So if we see over here, a quick fall has taken place in Reliance, but it has come back to the same support zone, and from there it has reversed, and today it opens a little gap up, and it is trying to build up its rally, right? So that's one good point for Reliance. But one thing one should understand, prior to result itself, it has gone to 52-week high, right, almost to those levels. So a quick swift fall was easy likely. As we see over here, these are like similar patterns even in Nifty. It is just shooting up, it is reaching high, and then a correction comes in only in 2 days. So in 2 days, Reliance was back to 908 from 950 odd levels, and now you can see small reversals are taking place. So yes, Nifty is getting some support from Reliance. Even let's see ITC. Now ITC has also gained from the lower levels. If we see out over here, the two good corrections have taken place in ITC. This was the first point, this was the second point, and then we saw a huge rally taking place in ITC prior itself, again bringing it back to the same exact point where it started, and the rally came in last 2 days, right? So today's gap up opening of ITC is very, very important and crucial, because if we see over here, the gap up is above a good resistance zone, right? So this is a good resistance zone for ITC, and on the higher side, you can basically expect ITC to reach around these 280 odd levels or around this 277 levels, which is where it is trading right now, right? So good upswing is there in ITC, which can provide additional support to Nifty, apart from Reliance. These two can basically be the stock. L&T being one of the good stocks which have provided support now to Nifty, and it is just zooming high. What we see from L&T point of view, after a swift rally which took place from this point, 1275, there is no looking back. Obviously, we cannot go out and buy L&T at these levels, but L&T can be one of the good stocks where we can keep an eye on for the next result and stuff like that, or whenever the correction comes in, right? So L&T is providing good support to Nifty. So all in all, some of the non-Nifty stocks are doing, non-banking stocks are doing good. Let's see HDFC Bank. This was almost at its 52-week high. How is it performing? So yesterday, gap up opening happened because of BankNifty, and it made a new lifetime high, and it is almost there. Okay, so but we see over here, prior to the result itself, a good uptick rally has taken place in HDFC, right? So after the result, it might find some corrections coming in, because the upward rally has already taken place. When we see on Yes Bank, the similar fashion has happened right from bottom. The rally has taken place. There might be some steam which is left, but more or less a good upswing has already happened in Yes Bank as well, right? So prior to the result, it's better we remain cautious and be aside rather than being in the trade. Even Kotak Bank seems to be strong through and through. And if we see over here, right at the base of 1000, after the good correction which took place, a good bound rounding formation happened, and then a bullish trend started from 1020, where it again came back and tested, and now it is in a sweet gap up point, and it is gaining some strength, right? So 1080 can be on the cards, or 1070 or so, but it is better that before the result itself, we exit the strategies, because result we can find some correction coming our way, right? So that's Kotak. And even let's see ICICI. So ICICI Bank has been flying from last 3-4 days. If you see over here, there has been a continuous up move in ICICI, and that also provides good support to Nifty as well as Bank Nifty. So what we see over here, yesterday, yes, some bit of correction took place, and again now it has marched higher on the upper side. So ICICI Bank is providing support to Nifty through and through, apart from HDFC Bank. When we see Axis Bank, that is also almost at its 52-week high. So on the banking side, all the stocks of banks are performing good, right? So even if we see over here the higher resistance level for Axis Bank, it did come down, and then we find a good upswing taking place in Axis Bank as well. So all these stocks are performing great from the banking point of view and have shown good amount of traction. All these Bank Nifty stocks will basically come under hammer after the result today. So we need to be cautious over there. Now let's see HPCL, BPCL and IOC. So when we see all these oil marketing companies, they are basically getting battered. Good amount of correction has happened in IOC, if you see from the top, and it is now entering in a good support zone. Obviously, oil has gone to a new level, and that is where it has found good amount of correction. So when we go out and see even BPCL, the correction has been way much more for BPCL, because from the high level which the correction comes in. Important point to understand from BPCL, when a good correction came in, there was a sweet green Moribazu which was formed, kind of gap up engulfing which happened. What is important over here to understand, it took almost 3-4 days to breach this level and go further down, right? So this is more important level of gap up, as well as good building of buying strength coming in at particular level. It gives you clear indication that almost the support is gone, and now it might go further. down, right? So again, both are entering in the support zone, even BPCL. When I see Hind Petro, so HPCL has also undergone correction along with all three, but HPCL was stronger compared to the other guys, and as we see over here, the correction has not been that brutal compared to the other guys, right? So the correction was there, but it has moved sideways, or up move has happened in HPCL, and even after two red candles, it is now showing some strength to gain on the higher side. So HPCL being strongest, and then it is BP, and then IOC. So oil marketing companies have undergone a hammer, and then what we see for Vedanta and Hindalco, all the commodity pack, they have also seen correction prior to the results. So when I see Hindalco as well, from the top of 280 or so, it has corrected and reached 250. So good amount of correction has taken place. It might be possible it may reach around this 240 odd levels, and again an upswing can happen, right? So Hindalco, Vedanta, all the stocks from the commodity sides which were zooming high has basically undergone correction. Vedanta is not much because it is almost at the higher levels, and it is looking out for some expansions as well. So Vedanta has been spared compared to Hindalco. Let's see Tata Steel. So Tata Steel is gaining strength, and as we see Tata Steel from the lower levels prior to the result, it has zoomed up and reached around the 780 odd levels, and now we see some selling coming in for Tata Steel as well. So all in all, things are good. Bank Nifty seems to be supportive or gaining strength, but we need to look at non-banking stocks which are also providing support, ITC and Reliance. Basically, we are now focusing more on Bank Nifty. When we see Bank Nifty even on 15 minutes chart, right from morning, there has been a good reversal and up move which has happened in Bank Nifty. So when I go out and see Bank Nifty right from morning, what exactly happened? Even yesterday, where it was up, it basically came down almost and filled up the gap, and then today it opened up again, made the same low which was yesterday, and then it started its upward journey. From 15-minute candle, quick selling took place, and then a quick buying took place, followed up buying, and then it is zooming high to the yesterday's highest level of Bank Nifty, right? So prior to the results, before they are out, we can find good amount of uh, upward rally in these stocks which can take place. One of the important stock, Maruti, and all the auto stocks have also undergone correction. So let's just pick up Maruti for example. When I see Maruti, the good correction has happened from these levels of 10,000 to 9,300 or so. We need to wait for a clear indication of upswing in Maruti. Currently, these are just small candles which are there, and they are not giving us any kind of clear signal on Maruti. But there might happen before the result, it might bring them down. Maruti can be brought down to 9,000 odd levels, and then a quick reversal can take place, the way it took place in Reliance. So keep that in mind. Apart from Maruti, even like Bajaj Auto and Heromoto, they have also corrected a lot. When we see from the top, even Bajaj Auto corrected, and then we saw a small engulfing pattern taking place right at the bottom or the support, but now it is going sideways, right? So that we need to keep in mind. Prior to the result, we can look into these stocks, not right now. Even Heromoto, where the correction was very fast from the top, as we see over here, but it has entered into a good support zone. But we need to be sure whether it can give us a good reversal or not, right? So that's more important from auto point of view. But auto has basically seen good amount of correction, so that should be kept in mind. Even from pharma point of view, the results are pending. So when you are looking at Lupin or Dr. Reddy, they are having some kind of strength or going sideways. So Lupin is almost in a narrow range of 900 and 925, and it can basically find an up move during the result time. Dr. Reddy seems to be strong, and it is almost there to fill the gap, which is already there in Dr. Reddy. So when we see Dr. Reddy, if you see after the selling taking place, good up move happened to 2500 odd levels, and 2600 can be the upswing which can take place in Dr. Reddy. right? And then when we have Sun Pharma, which has already seen a huge rally from bottom because of certain approvals, and now it is finding difficult to climb, and it is almost in the sideways trajectory. Even auropharma, the results have been fantastic, and they have got a couple of approvals as well. But auropharma is not finding good amount of support, and as we see over here, even after a huge correction, again it is weak, and it is almost there at a bigger support level, to be more precise, where around these levels of 645 or so, right? So even at these levels, it needs to get support, but we cannot see any kind of quick up move in Arvind Pharma. But apart from that, there can be a down move, which is possible to 600 odd levels for Auropharma, because the rise was also fast and this in this area around that support zone. So let's see, prior to the result, it can find good amount of reversal from the lower level. So we can keep that in mind. So pharma stocks are still having time for the results. So we can basically look a week prior what's happening for all these pharma stocks. And that's it for the day. We'll connect now on Monday, and have a good weekend.